It's match day 19, and Manchester United are just 7 points from the relegation zone. 3 back-to-back defeats against Bournemouth, losing 3-0 at home, and then 2-0 to Wolves away, as well as 2-0 to Newcastle at home, has left the Reds fanbase in shambles. With the next 2 games against Arsenal and Liverpool, I'm not even joking, there's a major problem at United, and they could be in the relegation battle. But even despite their recent struggles, could relegation ever become a reality? Let's break it down. Being a supporter of this club for a long time, I can say that I'm very disappointed as to where the club has fallen to. The team's league position, 14th, after 19 matches, shows a disjointed campaign, fueled by defensive lapses of concentration and big inefficiencies in attack. While United have managed 22 points from 6 wins, 4 draws and 9 losses, their goal scoring and defensive stats are much more telling of a big problem. United have only netted 21 goals this season, averaging just 1.11 goals per game. But they've been expected to score 26.6 times, meaning they either can't finish or they're missing clear opportunities. On the other side of the pitch though, the team has conceded 26 goals at an average of 1.37 per game and have a goal difference of -5. Compared to the top half of the table and even other Big Six teams in the league, yes, I'm including Tottenham, United have been performing horribly. To better understand their standing in relation to teams that are expected to be relegated, let's compare their expected metrics. Manchester United have an expected goals of 26.6. This is significantly higher than Wolverhampton Wolves at 22.1, Ipswich Town at 18.7, and Southampton at 16.5. It's a similar story to expected goals against, where United have a lower score than other teams, as well as goal difference, where they're significantly above. And while their expected goal difference of -0.5 reflects their struggles this season, it's considerably better than the other relegation zone teams, whose expected numbers show a much more dire inability to compete, both offensively and defensively. Of course, mathematically, it is possible for United to be relegated, but let's have a look at why United are not performing to its expected standards. The new manager, Ruben Amorim, has carried an underdog Sporting Lisbon to their first league title in 19 years, and Erik ten Hag, his predecessor, led the young Ajax squad to a historic Champions League semi-final. But for some reason, they just can't do it at United, but they can do so at quote-unquote lesser clubs. If the manager isn't to blame then, who is? The club have made significant transfers over the last couple of windows, and some of them, if not the majority, have not turned out the way they should have been. A media sensation at Ajax, praised by Ten Hag for its impact on the wing, compared to Vinicius Jr. Antony was bought in August of 2022 for €100 million. But in 76 games for the club, he scored just 12 goals and 5 assists, and in my humble opinion, emphasis on the humble, yeah, he's been even worse than the stats show. He might be the worst player I've seen play in the Premier League. And that's saying something. Another example would be Jadon Sancho, who was bought for €73 million from Borussia Dortmund, but only scored 12 goals and made 8 assists in 82 matches for the club. This is just 2 examples of many transfers that United have made over the last few years who have underperformed so much at the club that they were blamed for the team's lack of success. We need a right winger. We need a DM. I mean, all of them have come in. They've not done anything. But here's the real kicker. After his loan move back to Dortmund, Jadon Sancho was quite an important part of their run to the Champions League final, showing how much of a good player he really is when he isn't playing for United. Now, either Sancho couldn't hack it in the Premier League, or he just wasn't suited to the team's playstyle. Of course, every player can't be suited to life in Manchester, but for some reason, most players underperform when they come to United, but when they go to City, they improve, meaning there could be an unseen problem at the club. Despite making some questionable decisions in the transfer windows, United have made some very promising ones for the future. The promotion of Kobbie Mainoo into the first team as an academy player is a good example. In just 1 season of first team football, he started for the national team in the finals of the Euros, showing just how promising of a player he is. Alejandro Garnacho as well, another academy player who's just 20 years old, has been said to be the next Ronaldo at times. But I don't think he can reach that level, but he's a top prospect. United also secured the signing of 19-year-old super talent Lenny Yoro for €65 million, who chose to come to United over big interest from Real Madrid. These type of players can be the cornerstone for the club for the coming years, but the fans and media are always concerned about what's happening now, and that is alarming. Definitely some players will have to go. For United to succeed, players like Yoro, Mainu and Garnacho, they can be stars in the future. But right now, I can say confidently, no one is performing amazing, and every player needs to step their level up, because they're just not performing at top half Premier League standards. Of course, there's always going to be concern about United's performance success, because of the rich history of the club and the expectations. Right now, it's not looking good, and I don't know about you, but I can actually see a bright future